Hello, in this tutorial we will show you how to use the VLOOKUP feature in Excel. Excel VLOOKUP allows you to look at a particular value from a large set of records, and the best thing is that you can use this return value on additional formulas or use it as a reference on another worksheet. In this example, let's pretend that a company is moving into a new building, and we were asked to create a report that shows each employee's department, their location ID, and the new building as well. We will build this report together. We have missing information from two sources, and VLOOKUP will help us bring them together. Let's get started and create the first report. In this worksheet, we have the list of employees that were sent with unorganized and scattered data. We called it raw data worksheet. We are missing their department and new location. We just have their supervisor's name. Now, in another worksheet, we just have the departments, supervisor, and location ID. We called it Locations Worksheet. The only link between the two worksheets is the supervisor's name. So we're going to use VLOOKUP now. This is a very important note about VLOOKUP. Notice that it looks for the information from left to right. So if the value or column that you want in return is on the left of the table, like in this example, then the VLOOKUP will give you the NA error that you see here. In this example, let me show you an easy way to memorize how VLOOKUPs work. Do you remember the yellow pages back in the days? Well, I remember looking for everything we needed, and the yellow pages, at least for me, was my Google back then, and each page had a column with the name, the next column had the address, then the number, and so on, like you see in this example. Think of the VLOOKUP formula like this. Who are we calling from the yellow pages? This is our lookup value. Where are the yellow pages? This is our table array. And in which column is the value I need from the yellow pages? That is our column index. And lastly, false for an exact match and true for approximate match. So in this cell, we will write equal VLOOKUP, open parentheses, and select who are we trying to call. The supervisor in this case. Type a comma to make room for our next step. We are going to click on the Locations worksheet because in here we can identify each department by its supervisor. After the comma, we're going to select the whole yellow pages because we don't know exactly where the departments are in the book. So we select everything followed by another comma. In this case, the yellow pages were in my Locations worksheet because in there, I can see the departments by supervisors. Now, the only thing we know is that the information or the value that we're looking for is somewhere in this column. And we need to tell Excel the column number so it knows where to look for it in the yellow pages. In this case, after we select the yellow pages, then we will enter column number 3. But we're not done with the formula. We need one more step. Since we're using this formula in the rest of the columns, we're going to lock it by pressing F4. So my yellow page selection does not change and stays put, even when I drag the formula all the way down across the rows. On the last argument, we're going to select false and press enter because we want an exact match. And by the way, false in many examples and cases is kind of the most used criteria when it comes to VLOOKUPs. We are ready to find these values, so let's go ahead and close parentheses. Click enter and voila, you are going to see the department names based on supervisors. Let's repeat the same steps for the location. We'll type in cell F2 equal VLOOKUP, open parentheses. We can call the supervisor again since it is linked to the location ID. I pick the supervisor again, followed by a comma. Now we go again to the location worksheet, select the entire range, click anywhere on the selection, and press F4 inside the formula to lock it. Let's enter the column number where the location ID is. In this case, it's column 3, then type comma, and false for an exact match. We're going to close the parentheses, press enter, and the location ID shows up. So the steps for the VLOOKUP are equal VLOOKUP, open parentheses, First select who are you calling, comma, then highlight the entire yellow pages, lock these yellow pages using F4, then column number and false. Close parentheses and press enter. So it looks like the report I showed you in the beginning, and since this is already formatted as a table, click anywhere inside the table, then go to the Design tab on the top and select the design of your choice. I also checked banded rows so the report is easier to read in this example. Now let's go over an example where we use an approximate or true match at the end of the VLOOKUP instead of false as we showed you previously. We have a list of salesmen and we need to calculate their commission based on a chart next to it. If the sales are 50K or less, the percentage is 11%. If it is greater than 50 but less than 80,000, then it goes up to 12% and so on. The great news is that the true match works with the closest or approximate match from small to large, so it will calculate the commission easily for us. Let's do it. Before we start, let's convert the commission chart into a table by clicking anywhere inside the chart. Press Ctrl T, check my table has headers, and press OK. You're going to notice that by converting it into a table, I no longer need to press F4 when I highlight my yellow pages. In this case, will be the commission chart. In the cell D2, let's type equal VLOOKUP, open parentheses, cell C2 or 154,000, comma. This time the yellow pages are inside a table, so I don't need to lock it. Another comma, type the column number 2 for the commissions, comma, true match, close parentheses, and press enter. So let's verify the results. Since the sales for David Bradley were 154,000, and they are greater than 150 but less than 235, so the commission is 13% and this is correct. To finalize this example, let's double-click on the lower right-hand corner of the cell so it autofills all the way until the end of the columns. For the total column, just multiply the cells by the commission by clicking equal, then C2 times D2, divide by 100, and press enter. Click on the lower right-hand corner to autofill. Let's enter some dollar signs, and that's it. We hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe and like. What other features in Excel would you like to learn about? Let us know below. Thank you once again and see you next time.